Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for being here. My name is Tarani Devi Palma. I am the project manager for the development of form-based code in a pilot area. You all have taken time away from your family and friends to be here today, so that tells me how much this is important to all of you. So I really appreciate all of you for being here today. And we also have some of our staff members. They're back there. John Chapman, he's from the long-range planning team. Tabitha Dye, she's out there. She's also a planner from the long-range planning team. We also have the consultants here who are helping us go through this process. We are doing the charrettes, the 3-day workshop. This is the first public meeting on the 3-day workshop. And upstairs, they're all like working, designing the vision for the downtown area. So we're working hard for all the 3 days we have planned. So on Saturday, we do have the results that will be reported out of whatever work we have done so far. So we would like for you to attend the Saturday report out as well. It is not going to be here. It has been moved to the City Hall chambers. So I would like to point that out. And if you have any questions throughout today, please feel free to just pull one of us, and we'll be happy to answer questions for you. With that, I will hand it over to Jay Narayana. She is the project manager from the consultant team from Livable Plans and Codes.
One other thing we want to just clarify is there are 2 separate processes going on. The city is currently working on their comprehensive plan, which is the long-range vision for the community. This does set the policy and recommendations for future implementation actions, but it doesn't really change anybody's zoning or entitlement on their property. Whereas the form-based code project that we are working on is going to recommend actual zoning changes to properties. There will be a city-initiated zoning change for all the properties that we will recommend to City Council. Next slide. Again, I think, Tarni, you introduced the team. Actually, I do want to introduce the other people on our team. There's Jeff Whitaker and Reed Cleater with Kimley Horn. We have Brad Longberger and Ivan Gonzalez with Place Strategies. And I think there are some council members here as well. So welcome. Thank you for taking time away from your busy lives. Next. We are right now this was something that we've already completed, the site selection. We are right now during the charrette, and we will be actually coming up with recommendations on the framework in the next month and developing the draft ordinance later on in summer and for adoption in early fall. So you may all ask, what is a form-based code? And we do have boards there that will also describe the same information on the slides, but we thought it'd be a good way to kind of give you all an introduction. A form-based code is really a type of zoning which really emphasizes a form of development rather than the use. We would still regulate use, but the form is more important than the use. And the form really regulates pedestrian comfort and ease more than the ease of the automobile. So if you think about conventional zoning, the buildings are usually set back and parking is in the front. Next. So a lot of times the use is defined by the parking, whereas in a form-based zoning, we want to put the uses and the buildings closer to the street to define the street environment, and you may end up with on-street parking, street trees, and a more comfortable walking environment. And doors and windows, etc. Those are kind of important things in the form-based code. So some of the advantages are it gives us more flexibility, so the uses can actually change based on the market. It gives developers and property owners predictability. It also gives the neighborhoods predictability as to what development may happen next to them. We want to streamline the development process to make it easier to do the right thing. We also want to relate the public infrastructure investment like the streets and sidewalks to development. And again, we talked about the market responsive uses. This is our initial boundary. Again, this is just a preliminary study area. We may redefine this based on the discussions that we have with you all. In some areas, we may actually contract the boundary. In some areas, we may expand the boundary. Again, this is just a preliminary planning boundary as such. You can see the blue line in the middle is a rail line. So north of it, you have Division Street. South of it is Abram Street. The western boundary is Davis, and the eastern boundary is actually Collins, but we do include a section of Abram all the way to Johnson Creek. So right now we want to kind of talk about the boards, and I know you can't read anything on this slide, but you have the boards here that give you the same information. The first one is really about the downtown plan, because the code that we are presenting is really a tool to implement the downtown plan. So these give you the excerpts from the downtown plan. And then we do have a slide that kind of summarizes what we talked about. What is a form-based code? Why are we proposing this for downtown? And some of the success stories in other communities that have adopted form-based codes, which is really important for us to learn from these other communities and see what they've done well. And then we also kind of started looking at downtown and kind of identifying different neighborhoods. We kind of used our recommendations in terms of what we call them. For example, the main area in downtown where we are right now is the downtown core. The area north of the railroad, we're calling it downtown north, Division Street, which is the core of Division Street. Then west of it, west of the downtown core is West Abram Street, and north of that would be West Division Street. So a lot of it is more geographically based. You have border Dugan Street, which is a little bit of a neighborhood enclave there, just southeast of the core. Then you have East Abram, which goes all the way to Johnson Creek. Then you have the Entertainment District connector, which is along Collins. And then you have the Hill, Old Town, North Central neighborhoods, which are the neighborhoods immediately north of downtown. So we would like for you all to kind of give us your opinion on whether these names make sense, or we want to change any of the names of these neighborhoods. We'd love to hear from you. So the next board is really, you can see there is a map on the right. So that is the area we're looking at. This is some of the building types that we are looking at for the old town, the Hill, and Central neighborhoods. So if you look at some of the types of buildings and uses, you can tell us whether it makes sense in that neighborhood or not. So it's a way of trying to calibrate the zoning to the location. So each of the neighborhoods has a different board.
Want to read that?
Yeah, and then you would have to play, our request of you is to place a dot, a green dot for something that you think is appropriate, and you just don't place a dot if you don't, any color, okay, any color, it doesn't matter. Just place a dot in the, under the column that you think makes sense for the neighborhood. So if you don't place a dot, that means you don't care for that particular type of building or use, right? Yes. Okay. So this is the set of buildings and images we have for downtown north and the core of downtown. This is where we are, and to the north on Division Street. And then this is to the east, the Entertainment District and East Abram. So this is slightly to the east of downtown. And this is West Division, West Abram. So we have all these boards are there. So this is the interactive portion of the meeting. We'd like you to, again, take one of these rows of these dots and place them where you think they're appropriate. And there are a couple of maps there. One of them, we want you to identify land uses, things that you want to see or don't want to see in different locations in downtown. And the other is to identify connectivity, mobility, sidewalk, shade, other kind of aspects related to the streets that you want to see in downtown as well. Please take a moment to click this QR code and answer the survey. I think we have had very low response. We really want to see Arlington do its part, and we want you to have higher response rates for these surveys. We'd really appreciate your input. Thank you.